Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have people who are popping into our wonderful monthly webinar. It is all about senior discounts, and we have some great people who are going to be on our panel today. You see their beautiful pictures. Hey, panelists. And we'll get introduced in here in just a little bit. We just want to allow everybody to pop in. It is 10:30. But you know how we are, we like to get started right away. We don't want to start late. So without further ado, good morning. My name is Cindy Cummings. I am one of the founders of LT Senior Services. We are a wonderful group who's based out of Lake Travis, and our whole intention is to help seniors and their families navigate this part of their life. We are a nonprofit. Here's one of our books that we give out, and it is a directory of our members. We have 40 members in our group. So we have been able to do some really wonderful things in the Lake Travis area. One of the things that we do each month are these webinars. So we're so happy that you're here today. It is our last webinar for 2020. Ooh, it's kind of feels good to be done, but on the other hand, it's like, I can't believe that we had to switch from in-person to online to virtual, and it's just been a transition that has been really crazy for the year. But we are so happy to have you all here today. We have actually a huge group of people that signed up. Who doesn't want to learn about discounts? Shoot, I do, right? So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our panelists for today. Our first is going to be Anne Maloney from Be Well MD. Hey, Anne. Anne is the Chief Strategy Officer for Be Well MD, and Be Well MD provides in-home medical care exclusively to seniors. Be Well MD patients have unlimited access to the medical team upon request in the convenience of their home. The mission is to support older adults in the aging process. She just recently, the founder and medical director of Be Well MD opened Be Well Clinical Studies, of which Anne serves as the Chief Strategy Officer. Be Well Clinical Studies is a medical research company designed for geriatric?
Geriatrics, yes.
Yeah, geriatric clinical studies. The team is focused on conditions affecting seniors. We want to hear more about that, Anne. That sounds really fascinating. Prior to being with Be Well MD, Anne was a consultant to healthcare organizations across the country in the areas of practice development, physician communications, and physician-hospital relationships. She did this for more than 12 years. She was recognized in the medical marketing industry for her innovative practice development strategies. So that was Anne.
Thank you.
One of our other speakers is going to be Karen Ballinger, and Karen works with the Lake Travis Community Library. Hey, Karen. Karen has been working as an outreach librarian at the Lake Travis Community Library since 2016. Her role at the library involves reaching out to those in the community who might not be aware of or are unable to access library services. Generally, with the library bookmobile, before working at the library, Karen worked at the University of Texas at Austin Administrative Mainframe System and has lived in Austin for 20 years. And that is Karen. Next, we have Debbie Douglas. Hey, Debbie. Debbie works with John Brown at Oasis Senior Advisors and has several years of experience in senior housing, hospice, and memory care dementia. She's also done volunteer work with veterans for the past couple of years as well. We'd like to hear a little bit more about that too, Debbie. That'd be awesome. And then lastly, it is me, and I'm not going to read this whole bio. How embarrassing. Anyway, let me just say I'm Cindy Cummings with the Home Team. I specialize in helping adults who are 55 plus, senior citizens, and their caregiver families navigate the unique challenges that face boomers and seniors when they contemplate a late in life move. So I am a realtor, and I help people make that transition. In addition, I have an ancillary business called Turnkey Transition, and basically we're a project manager. We help people move from their home into communities. So enough of that. I think we'll go ahead and get started. So what I think we'll do, and just as a reminder for people who are attending our webinar today, if you take your mouse button towards the very bottom, you're going to see a place where you can have question and answer. And we also have chat. If you'd use the chat to ask any questions, and then what I'll do is I'll help facilitate answering those questions for you. So as we're going through, if you have any particular questions, you just put them in there, and then I'll address them to the person who's speaking at that time. What we're going to do is kind of a round robin, talk about different kinds of discounts coming from different perspectives. And then at the very end, we'll all pop back on and answer any general questions that you might have. So Debbie and Karen, I'm just going to have you go ahead and take your video off. And then same as Natalie. And then I'm going to do the same. And then Anne, if you want to go ahead and if you want to go ahead and get your PowerPoint up.
Okay.
And then off you will go, my dear.
Okay. Am I taking myself off as well? Okay. All right. It's wonderful to be here with you all. I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking about health-related discounts. And I'm going to say at the beginning that I know that I'm not going to cover everything. So the information I have for you is really designed to sort of get you thinking about where there may be other opportunities, some folks that you might be networked with, and just give you some other ideas. So let me get started here. One area that we'll touch on that I know that if not all of you, most of you are familiar with are the AARP benefits. But I wanted to call out specifically the health-related benefits under AARP. So prescription discount card, they tout that seniors save an average of 61% on pharmaceuticals that are not currently covered by the current prescription insurance or from the Medicare Part D, the prescription part of Medicare. And then AARP also has discounts in vision, LensCrafters, Pearl Vision, Target Optical. Related to hearing, AARP through their hearing care program offers 20% off of hearing aids. And they also have other benefits. There was a long list of them. And the one particular one that I called out was the 3-year supply of free batteries. I know that that's a big deal to some. It was a big deal to my mom and dad. Likely a big deal to you all as well. Those can be pricey. Philips Lifeline, you can save 15% off this medical alert service through AARP. CareLinks, this is a service that they provide that helps connect seniors with caregivers to support them in their needs. New members to CareLinks receive a 3% discount. And then through AARP, there's a whole lot of other health insurance discounts. I didn't list them here. Please visit that website or give them a call or look at your plan. They do offer a lot of other health insurance discounts. So just to spend a couple more minutes on prescriptions, I already mentioned AARP, their prescription discount card, and then you'll see the list there, and likely many of you are already taking advantage of some of these discounts through some of these entities, but I wanted just to list them here for the sake of being inclusive. Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart, and if you're a member of Costco, they also offer some discounts for prescription drugs. So keep those in mind. Well, I'll talk about this in a minute, but never be afraid to ask if they have a discount. No matter what establishment you're doing business with, that you visit, it's always great to ask for discounts. I'm going to share a little bit about fitness discounts with a focus on staying healthy and fit. There are opportunities for some good discounts with exercising even during the pandemic. 24-hour fitness, they offer free studio classes. These would be classes like yoga, strength training, Zumba. So be sure to, if you are a member of 24-hour fitness or would like to become a member or interested in getting out and doing some exercising outside of your home or community, check out 24-hour fitness for those free studio classes. Silver Sneakers, likely many of you are already a part of this wonderful group or have heard of them. You may already have Silver Sneakers as part of your Medicare Advantage plan. That's very likely. They offer lots of classes, lots of videos. They offer free memberships to participating gyms. access to online resources, all kinds of really wonderful things. So if you aren't a part of Silver Sneakers, or you're not a member, have not heard of them, I encourage you to explore that for under the category of health and wellness. Okay, we have a wonderful organization in our city, Area Agency on Aging of the capital area. It's a long name. Simply, it's an entity that focuses on providing services and programs for older adults. They have Medicare benefits counselors. They provide information and counseling for free to seniors. There's this really wonderful program, Senior Medication Safety Program. They partner with pharmacists in the area who review medications, supplements, vitamins, and they provide counsel to seniors and their caregivers, making sure that those drugs that they're taking in combination, there's no contraindications or any risks. Just trying to maybe even distill the pharmaceutical drugs down to maybe less pills than what you're taking. So look into that if you feel like you could use some support with medications, the Senior Medication Safety Program. And then again, this is another entity that offers a whole lot under health and wellness. I left the website down there for you. If you go there or give them a call, they're wonderful people and will be able to guide you in the direction you need. Here's a really great organization in town that I wanted to call everyone's attention to. Aging is Cool is the name of it. Everything that they provide now is free of charge. Thanks to a donation by St. David Foundation. So Aging is Cool does not have to charge for any of their programs. You can see there on the screen, there's some bullets down on the right-hand side. So many of the services they provide can be offered virtually, just like we're doing now. They have some really fun brain exercises, brain training, some seated and standing fitness sessions. They get seniors together in a virtual environment to visit and share and learn together. So look into this entity. Dr. Carlson, our medical director, he's a big advocate of Aging is Cool and sends a lot of our patients to this organization. I think you'll like what you find there. Here's another entity in our community. We have so many wonderful services, and I've just called out a few here again for ideas and maybe to encourage you to explore other options. Enabled Living is an organization that comes into your home. These are occupational therapists. They come in and they give you some advice, some ideas for modifying your home for safety, to reduce the risk of falling. They do some technology support, and they are offering free grab bars to all seniors. If they come in, they will bring a handyman in to install the grab bar. So look into them. I left the phone number there for you in case this may be a service that you would be interested in looking into. And I have to share a little bit about what we offer for seniors. Be Well MD, as Cindy said at the start of this, that's the company that I'm with. I mean, we offer medical care inside of homes. It is a flat fee per month, and it's unlimited use of Dr. Carlson, access to Dr. Carlson, having him come into the home. The discount part, so that it fits into this presentation, the discount part is that we are offering a virtual concierge program for $250 a month. So that's a reduction from the $400. And what that is Dr. Carlson can be your primary care physician or supplement your primary care services that you are getting now, and connect with you virtually and provide you with medical counseling, talk about medications, talk about some of the chronic conditions you may be experiencing. But he basically can do medical care virtually. So that is a discounted offer that we're providing to the folks here with us today. Let me get to my next one. Okay, so I'm gonna sort of depart a little bit from all things medical, which is what I've just been talking about, and share with you sort of more umbrella or more general ideas. But here's a book. I actually stumbled upon this when I was doing research for this presentation today. I thought it would be really cool to share with you all. This is a Senior List digital coupon book. And you can see on the screen there, it offers not only healthcare related discounts, but all kinds of discounts. So I encourage you to go to this website or just Google Senior List 2020 digital coupon book and sign up for it. Looks like $20 is what it costs. So you may be asking, if we can get this information over to you. I will make this PowerPoint presentation available to you all through Cindy, and anybody who's interested in getting this information sent to them, I'm happy to share that directly. Okay.
And I think we'll take all of the PowerPoints and combine them all and then just send them out to everybody who attended.
Perfect.
So,
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect. Sure. Okay, this slide helps us kind of, as I was doing some of my own research, and I know we've got some other panelists here, there's going to be a lot of information coming at you regarding discounts. And so to maybe help compartmentalize or help organize this whole thing, because there's so many opportunities, I thought maybe this slide would be helpful to you, for you to sort of organize your thinking and how all of these discounts could fit into buckets. So there's an online discount bucket, and then there's a brick and mortar, or just going into an establishment. Register with a senior organization. So for online discounts as well as in-store discounts, you're going to usually need to register with an organization like AARP, confirm your identity and your age, and so we would need, that's one category for online. The other, coupons and promo codes. Often many companies have promo codes and coupons for senior discounts featured on their websites. So that's another category. And then there's unique discount codes. These are unique codes specific to the customer. So if you're frequently visiting a website and you're buying off of that website on a routine basis, you often will get a unique code to your own name that you would type in to get the code specific to you. And then senior sales. This is, you don't need a code, you don't need a coupon, you don't need anything but to just be browsing the web, and you'll come across certain sale items or services that are applicable for a senior discount. So again, be on the lookout for these four categories of online discounts. And then we have the brick and mortar discount. Sometimes it's just easier to go in and ask for the discount. And again, I've said this a couple times, I'll say it one last time, is never be afraid to ask whenever you're in Lowe's or in HEB or wherever you go, any of the small boutiques where you go shopping, ask if they have senior discounts. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to learn that many of them do offer discounts. Okay. So final considerations to think about as you are exploring the whole world of senior discounts. Almost always there's going to be certain conditions to fulfill, whether that's an age limit or you have to be a member of a senior related organization like AARP. There's also local franchise rules. So what may be a discount at one McDonald's may not be a discount at another McDonald's. So be on the lookout for that. Before you venture out, if you see a discount in the newspaper or in a magazine or online, before you venture out to that establishment, you might want to call to confirm that discount and save yourself a trip. So this final slide just provides you with the sources that I used to help build this presentation. Now that we know that Cindy's going to be sending all this out, you'll have access to all of this information. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for letting me join you.
Hey, and we have a couple questions in here. Do you know, and you may not know this, how do you get an AARP discount card? I belong to AARP. And actually, I think I can answer this because I'm a member too. I think I just paid and then the card came in the mail, if
I
I'm
think
not
that's the case. If I remember that with my mom and dad as well, yeah.
mistaken. Natalie, our great assistant, has posted a link to Google Docs, and it's a short survey on webinar topics for 2021. Can you believe that? We're already trying to figure out our topics for 2021. So if you don't mind, go ahead and fill out that information and tell us about topics that you liked from this year. And then also if you could tell us about topics that you'd like to see in the future. We have another question. Can someone join Silver Sneakers, or does it have to be included as part of an Advantage plan? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I believe anybody can join Silver Sneakers. And I hope I'm not wrong there. And in fact, I can do some research while the others are presenting.
Okay, great,
Yeah, let me do some checking, and I can have a better answer.
great. And I think that there's a Silver Sneaker north of us in Steiner Ranch. So I think there's a Silver Sneaker group out of Steiner Ranch, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's the closest one. Aren't they geographic? They normally meet
Yes.
geographically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let me.
And Anne, I'm not sure if it's your internet or my internet, but we're having maybe a little bit of trouble seeing your picture, but no big deal. We have another question that says, Anne was talking about the pharmacies offering prescription discounts. We use a good RX card that gives us great discounts on medication. I didn't know the places she listed are doing that. So yeah, that's one of the things of this presentation is just sharing with you the information that we have about different places that offer discounts. So
Very good.
yeah, and I just think you just got to ask, when you're going through the drive-through or whatever, just go ahead and ask. I know I go through Whataburger and I'll say, can I have a senior coffee? And I get my senior coffee. Hey, I'm not lying. I'm old enough. So there you go. Well, Anne, thank you so much. And if you could answer that additional question, Debbie, if you will come back on, we're going to have you go ahead and talk about your topics. There she is. Hey, Debbie.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Okay. So I was asked to talk about senior living, senior care, when you need extra care, and what's available and how is that pricing done? And I think a lot of times, I don't have slides, y'all, it's just me. I think a lot of times we don't really understand how care and living situations work. So I just want to go through for seniors. There's a group of senior living types of communities. So there's apartment complexes that are just for seniors, and they usually are just a little bit more geared to the 55 over population, but they don't have meals and they don't offer like necessarily transportation. They're still very independent, but the goal is that you're not living in a crowded, noisy place with a pool that you can't get into and that kind of thing. They're often very nice. So their discounts are much the same as any other apartment. They're going to offer specials when they have empty apartments. They're going to do away with part of the deposit or charge you less, things like that. So that's a pretty normal discount available. When you get into independent living, assisted living, memory care, then you have a little bit of a different thing. So independent living is independent, but it has meals and activities and transportation, staff on site. It's a different type of community. Now, they always, every month, they are going to offer something. Their corporate office is going to tell them that they can do away with a community fee, or they can do away with a month's rent, or 3 apartments are going to only be this much rent instead of that much rent, okay? But COVID has changed things a little bit for everyone. They had a slowdown for several months. And so what happened is they're all of these places I'm talking about are offering more opportunities to save some money. And as Anne said, and Cindy said, and I'm going to say it, don't hesitate to ask. As a senior advisor, one of the things Oasis does is we help people through this process, and we help them look for places and find the right place. And the one thing I know from working with different people in the business is that I always ask. I'm like, well, can you get away with the community fee? Can you, lower the rent a little bit? So in independent living, there's some fluctuation there. There's some give and take because it's rent. The rent includes meals, it includes utilities, but they do have wiggle room. When you get to assisted living and memory care, it's a little bit different, right? Because now you're talking about caregivers. And so the level of care that you may need or your spouse may need may not be as negotiable. And the reason that is because the price they're giving you for care, they're paying caregivers for that time to produce that, as well as supplies. So what happens is the place to get the discount with an assisted living is back to the rent. The base rent is where they can give you the third month, the 6th month, and the 9th month free, or they can take off the community fee. They are looking way further outside of the box than they were before COVID. So now is the time to question that, to say, well, the base rent's a little high for us. We understand the level of care, but this is our budget. And be okay with that. I think often when we're looking at things and services, if it's fancy, if it's shiny, if it's what you really want is good care and good staff. So I would say it's always okay to ask that question. It's also okay if you go to 3 places and they seem pretty comparable to you, to say to the place you like best, okay, you are $500 more a month than than place A, and we prefer you, but $500 a month is a lot of money. Very often the person that you're talking to can talk to someone higher above them, and they may be able to meet you part way, even the whole 500, but it could be less than that, but they might be able to do something. They're not as able to offer it because their owners and their corporations don't really want them to offer it out right away. You do have to dig a little deeper with them. You do have to ask for that. They offer monthly specials, but they can go further usually, and you want to know that because all of the places I'm talking about are private pay. Even though you need physical care, it's not covered by Medicare. It's not covered by Medicaid for people who go on Medicaid. Those are medical insurances. Those are medical coverage. And so even though the care you need might be a result of a medical need, the truth is they are not going to cover it. So when you're talking private pay, every dollar really counts back in your pocket for your future and for your other needs. Now they are very inclusive. So they, that check you write covers pretty much everything, just, not your meds and your, doctor visits, but they do cover that. Memory care is usually a set price rather than a level of care. So it might be $5,000 a month, and that's the set price. They also will discount that. So don't be afraid to ask. A lot of places really suffered for months with COVID. They couldn't show apartments. They couldn't move anybody in. People did pass away or moved home with family for a while, possibly permanently. People moved people from out of town. So they might have lived in the Austin area, but their kids lived in Oklahoma. Those people moved to Oklahoma to be closer to their
Uh-oh. Let me see. Debbie, are you still there? Having a little bit of trouble, I think, with her video.
first floor place. You can go in through the balcony, things like that. So don't be afraid to ask because that is crucial. Veterans, there are some veterans can get some help, and it's called aid in attendance, and you have to jump through hoops, but it's the best kept secret because They don't tell you about it, but it could help pay for an assisted living or a memory care, or it could help pay for care at home. So the next thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is if you're not in a position to move, you're not ready to move, you don't want to move, there's two of you, or you can have some help, but you need some extra help. There's home health and there's home care services. Do they throw discounts? Not usually. I found a few during the COVID hot months that were like, yeah, we're lowering our prices a little bit. That's very rare. What you can ask though is that the minimum number of hours, some of them are 4-hour minimums. You might only need somebody 2 hours once a day or 1 hour. Ask for that. Ask if they know, ask if they could do that for you. They may be able to do that right now. Some have a smaller minimum. You know, I know of a place that has, you know, like an hour minimum, which is almost unheard of. Ask around for those kinds of things, call around, get recommendations, because that way you know that who you're calling is reputable and they are going to send out people when they're supposed to. COVID's done another thing to home health, which has shortened their staffing a little bit and created a little bit of a glitch. So sometimes some of them have trouble meeting all of the care needs that they've taken on. So ask those questions and get referrals from people. You can always get referrals from people on this panel, as an example. You know, I'm assuming that you'll have our emails and our contact information in some way, shape, or form through Cindy. So please, like, reach out to us. We're all willing, you know, to give you 3 places to call or 5 places to call. So we're not going to pick favorites, but we at least can give you, you know, something to go by. Like I said, there's those different things. Now, nonprofits also offer some care. And so Anne touched on area agency of aging for Central Texas. There's Age of Central Texas. There's Family Elder Care. There's quite a few agencies that are not for profit that offer different things. And some of the things that they offer, including Meals on Wheels, is they offer caregiver services on a sliding fee scale, which could be very helpful if you can't afford the $20, $25 an hour. They offer lending, you know, libraries, so to speak, but they're actual medical equipment. So do you need a walker? Do you need something that maybe Medicare won't cover, or maybe they'll cover it, but you need it now and you don't need it in 2 weeks or whenever that can come in. If you're having a glitch with any kind of anything like that, or sometimes if you're under 65 and you're having trouble affording it because you're not on Medicare yet, and yet you're still having some health issues, those can be a good place to call and ask. They have a lot of support groups, both online, virtually, even though through the pandemic. That's really important, because right now, a lot of you who are on this webinar are taking care of someone, you're tired, you're getting burned out. All of our health is a little bit at risk, not just from the isolation, but from the stress. So tapping into one of these groups, the Alzheimer's Association, is awesome for the things they offer. Aging is cool, as was mentioned. So don't hesitate to look into the nonprofits. If you have kind of an immediate need or a question, just dial 211. That's what they're there for. They'll give you the links to everything. Go online, look up, 55 plus nonprofits, all of those things. And again, any of us are happy to help you with that. But they offer different kinds of support for those of you who are at home. And the other thing is hospices. Somebody might qualify for a hospice, that's paid for, and you're going to get that extra support. So I know that hospice can be kind of a dicey thing for some of us, but honestly, they can offer a whole lot of support. And because you meet the criteria does not mean that you're imminently going to pass away. It just means that you have a disease process that could take your life in 6 months. And so a hospice could offer that extra care, and that would be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, even private insurances. So just know that those things are out there for you, and be sure to ask, because again, if you don't ask, you don't know. And that's it. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Debbie. Let me see if there's some questions or comments in here. Looks like we have a comment. My mother gets aid in attendance. It's great. I agree. I mean, I think any veteran and their spouse should get it. They earned it. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Smaller communities may have senior services such as the Lakeway Service League that offers free medical equipment and accepts donations of equipments. Yes, Sharon, thank you so much for sharing that. I think right now the league, what I heard, the Lakeway Service League, they're taking a break with COVID. So I'm not sure they're doing too much work right now, but hopefully they'll come back in soon. Anne is responding, I think, to her question that was given to her. Silver Sneakers is associated with health plans, not only Medicare Advantage plans. To learn if your health plan has Silver Sneakers, visit the website and go to check eligibility, or call, and she has the phone number. All of this information is in the chat, guys. So if you want to go to the chat, you can read it. We do have another question. Oh, what is 211? Great question.
211 is like 911, except it's not the emergency. It's the place to ask questions for services, for social services. So if you're a senior and you wonder about a caregiver support group, or you wonder about services offered, you call 211 and you ask the questions, and they're trained people who answer those phones and tell you the answers. It's really awesome.
Okay, so we are getting a comment here. It says the Service League, oops, it went away. Hold on one second. The Service League has suspended ride and handyman services, but is still providing medical equipment loans. Great, Tom. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And then somebody is saying the chat can only be seen by the panelists, not the participants. Do you need to change the setting? Great question. I'm going to have Natalie work on that while we have our next speaker come. Let me go back to the question and answer. Okay, we've done the 211. So, Debbie, I've even had people who have suspected somebody being harmed, neglected, and they use that 211 number too. Is that a proper use of it?
I mean, I think so. They're going to direct you to Adult Protective Services to look into that, or an ombudsman. You can always contact an ombudsman if you feel like there's something going on at a skilled nursing facility or something like that. But I would say the Adult Protective Services is always the place to go if you truly are concerned that someone's care is not sufficient. And sometimes neglect, sometimes we think, well, they're not abusing them, so I don't want to make that call. But the truth is, neglect is very, very serious, especially for a senior, just like a child, right? Because if you're in a situation that you cannot fend for yourself fully, then it's somebody not getting you medical care, not giving you food, letting the place be disgustingly dirty. I mean, that could be deadly. So if you feel as though someone is in a situation that requires some oversight, absolutely Adult Protective Services, which is, pretty easy to find through Google, you know what I mean? Or call 211 and they'll be able to give you that too.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Debbie. And everybody who's attending, if you have additional questions, don't hesitate to go ahead and ask us a question. She'll come back in at the very end. So now, Karen, I'm going to have you go ahead and come in and talk. And Natalie, you need to repost the initial link. It was just sent to the panelists regarding oh no, it does say attendees. We have a short survey on the webinar. So attendees, do you see that one? We have a short survey on the webinar topics. If somebody could just like raise their hand and say, yes, they see it. Karen, you're a panelist, so you might see things a little bit differently. Okay, I'm seeing hands raised. Okay, so thank you so much. Some of the questions are just being directed to the panelists and we're just reading them. But the answers we will put in the chat and we'll put it to all attendees. Karen, take it away. Are you ready to share your slides?
Let's see.
And how cute is
Okay.
that little bookmobile van that you have sitting on your,
Oh.
did someone make
Yeah.
that for you? How'd you get that?
We actually have, this is a pattern that's on the website. So there's a National Bookmobile Association and they had a free template and you can adjust it to your bookmobile. Almost all the
Oh.
bookmobiles that I've met have one, but you can actually go to our bookmobile website at the library and download it and then make your own. So it's a little bit, there's a lot of cutting and gluing, but it's super fun.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
cute.
of course I can't talk without giving a short plug for the library, just because I do work there.
Understandably.
And that's what attracted me to just participate on the panel. But also, I thank everyone so much, like Cindy and Natalie, who've been putting all this together ever since the beginning when the closures first happened. Thank you for all of your work on the webinars and everything. But yeah, I mean, I do work at the libraries. I've been trying to plug at every webinar. And when I saw a panel about discounts, I just have to say again that to me, the library is the ultimate discount because everything is free. And I love that. I mean, there's other great things about the library, but everything is free. We have speakers happening. You can reserve items and pick them up. We also do, I'll say again, we have a homebound delivery service. So if you're having a medical issue, if there's a medical reason why you can't make it to the library, we do have staff and volunteers who will deliver items to your house. So if that's something that you need, please contact us and let us know and we can work through how we can do that. So but thank you always to everyone for letting me plug the library. And of course I can answer any questions. Cindy and Natalie asked me, I was just going to talk briefly about travel discounts for seniors. Obviously, this isn't a complete list, but just again, as Anne and Debbie are saying, and Cindy, just things that you can think about to get you thinking. When you talk about senior, how old is it? All the different places have a different age, you know, so age is always a frame of mind, but certainly you should take advantage of whatever your numeric age is to always ask, as everyone's been saying, if there's a discount. You might as well take advantage of the benefit if you can. And the worst they can say is no, and you're just doing whatever you did before. So the reason I wanted to talk about travel is just because I know everybody's at home and not necessarily people aren't going worldwide and doing all the travel they used to. And of course, you can check out the CDC has recommendations for travel, but I do think it's good to just get your mind to go someplace, to either travel physically, even if it's just to a park or somewhere that you don't usually go, if you can be outside and not around a lot of people. I think it's good for your mental health and just to see something new, even as we're in this time of being at home. But of course, everyone, please do what you feel safe with doing for your own health. So with that, I would just wanted to share some things that the national, like the different parks, other things you can do, some discounts for travel. So if you're a senior, like the National Park Service has senior passes. So you can purchase an annual senior pass for $20, so it's good for a year, or you could do a lifetime pass. So for $80, you can pay once and you don't have to renew it, and you can go to all the different national parks. And I think it's great to have that resource that the national parks, I've been looking and they are open. There's some restrictions. A lot of the visitor centers at the parks are closed, but still I think the parks themselves are open. You can go around, it's outside. It's just a great resource that we have. And then closer to home, there's Texas state parks. They also have a Texas Parklands passport. So if you are able to go and get the passport, so you have to, you know, as Anne was saying, there are always some not restrictions, but qualifications. So you show your age and everything. But once you get the passport, you can take it to any Texas park and you can get, if you're over 65, you can get 50% off your entry fee. And if you were born before 1930, and I'm always, you know, that it's amazing that you're at this part where you're before 1930, you get free entry plus a 50% off discount with anyone who's helping you. So please take advantage of that if you are lucky enough to be still with us and born before 1930, which is incredible. Hooray. Also closer to home, there's Travis County Park. So there's different parks, just like there's different levels of government. There's the national parks, there's the state parks, and then there's the county parks, which are close to us. So like Mansfield Dam Park, we used to go. I think it used to be that you could, if you were a senior, you could get in free. But now there's day use fees that you can get a discount on if you're a senior. So again, always ask. And then you can get a lifetime senior permit, again, for $80. There's no discount necessarily for seniors, but the discount is that you just buy once as opposed to the rest of us who have to buy every year. So definitely there's some resources out there you can take advantage of the different parks and things that are in our area. Also, you know, even more locally, Lakeway obviously has some great city parks that you can go to that are always free. And then another plug I wanted to make for travel is if you're in our area, UT Austin is a huge resource for just great like cultural institutions and intellectual like travel with your mind. When I used to work there, every day, maybe it was every week, I thought it was every day, they would send an email of all the things happening on campus. And my dream job would be to retire and just go to all these different events that are happening. They were almost all free. So I know there's a great library patron that I've met, and I thank him very much for some of these ideas. And he is able to do that. He could go to some of these places and just take advantage of what's happening at UT Austin. So if I don't know if you're all familiar, the Ransom Center and the Blanton Museum are two museums on campus. There's not necessarily any senior discounts for membership or for admission, but if anyone who's been to campus knows, parking and getting on campus is kind of a pain. So to me, the biggest discount for the Blanton Museum, and again, I thank this patron for telling me, is that if you're going to the Blanton, you can park at the Brazos garage and get $4 parking, which is incredible for being on campus. So the Blanton Museum is open now. You can go to reservation. It also has the Ellsworth building. I don't know if you've seen, I should have had a picture of that great like rainbow circle sort of flower. So it's worth checking out. And there's also great webinars happening. And this is just a sample again of what's happening on campus. The Strauss Center for International Security and Law has free lectures. So the next lecture is, what did I put it there? Oh, I'm not going to be able to see it. Sorry, I'm trying to move the window and I'm not having any luck. So, but there's some other great lectures. There's going to be another one on water and climate and the state. So there's some great free resources on Zoom. If you like attending Zoom webinars like this, there's a lot happening through campus. It's free with registration. Similarly, the LBJ school is also having free webinars Wednesdays at noon. So I think their next one is about the election. So, and then the Ransom Center, and you all may know this, but it's a free archive of different, like, it's an archive that has materials from like amazing authors and writers and artists, and it's always free to go in. They're not open right now, but they have an online digital collection. So again, you can travel from home, and they have one of the Gutenberg Bibles there, and you can see it digitally, and they have a ton of their collections available digitally. So just a plug for a great resource that's nearby if you want to either travel to and walk around or just intellectually go online. And then as Anne mentioned, and Cindy's got a great blog too, there's also lots of discounts for seniors for travel, and every company is going to have a different discount. So if you are traveling somewhere, maybe you're driving and you don't want to pay, or you want to rent a car, there's always car rental. It's again, always good to ask. You can save up to 30%. Excuse me, at different companies, different hotel groups. So this isn't all of them, but this is some that, excuse me, if you ask, will also have discounts ranging from like 10 to 15% or even more of different discounts that you can get in hotel rooms. And then airlines too, I think almost all of them listed say, make sure you talk to a representative. So even though in this era of online booking, sometimes it helps to get on the phone and just explain, just ask. And the worst they can say is no, and you're no better off than you were, but at least you can see if there's some sort of discount. And if you are traveling by rail, which fortunately, unfortunately, I've never done myself, Amtrak has some senior discounts. And a lot of these we got from AARP, so definitely check them out. And yeah, there's
Karen, we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. So
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know, just when you get to this resource, maybe check your sound.
Okay, so let's see.
That sounds
I
great.
think
You sound
that's
great.
all. Okay, that's all I had was resources. That's if you start Googling senior discounts, there's definitely a lot of different places. Let's see, hold on, what's happening? Okay, am I still there?
You are still
Okay.
on. We can hear
Okay.
you. I'm just going to go into the chat and see if there's any specific questions for you. I don't see any in there. Let me look at question and answer. I think we're good. Well, great things. You didn't really say what are some of the free things at the library. So what are some
Oh,
free things right now that people can do at the library?
well, I have a whole presentation on that if you want to see that. But some of the great things, we have a digital library. So if you, it's, well, right now, any item at the library you can reserve online and pick up curbside, either at the library or on the bookmobile. So you can reserve it. You can either do it online, you can call us, you can text us and reserve it. And once you get a notification that it's ready, then you can go swing by the library. We've got pickup hours on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 11 to 3, and then Wednesday happy hour service from 5 to 7 p.m. You have to provide your own drink, and you can pick up the item. And then the bookmobile stops too are all over. Oh, I see a question. What's a text share card? Thank you. The text share card too is another service that the library has always provided, and the service stopped for a little bit for COVID, is back up now. So basically you go to your home library, let's say, so if you come to us at Lake Travis, we check and make sure your account is in good standing, and then we basically give you a text share card that says your account is in good standing with us. You take that card to a different library, like say Austin Public Library or the UT libraries, which may or may not be doing text share at this time. And then you get a limited privileges borrower card from that library so that you can check out books from Austin Public without having to pay. So the text share card, and then it's a card that you renew every year. So again, you can contact us as long as your account is in good standing, then we'll issue you a card every year. That's totally free. We have a digital library, so you can download books and audiobooks for free onto your computer or your phone or your tablet. I think some people say, they don't want to, they love to hold the physical book, which I totally agree with, but the digital library is just so convenient because you can get a lot of books on one device and you just take around your little phone that you may have. And people also love the digital library for audiobooks, so you can listen. Oh, sorry. Text share. Yes, thank you.
There we go.
Ms. Mueller,
Yep,
thank you.
we got that. Okay,
So
super.
yeah, text share. So we have the digital library. We have a ton of events happening on Zoom. Like I think this Thursday, our board member and also professor at St. Edward's University, PK Chatterjee is speaking. So all those events are listed on our calendar, which I'll put in the chat. We have the homebound delivery service. We have tons of resources online. So I talked about, like, you can get ancestry.com at home. So you don't have to pay necessarily for like the account yourself.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the benefits that the library can have, is that we have all these resources that are free that you don't necessarily have to pay for an individual subscription. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes. Well, excellent. Well, thank you, Karen. We always love to hear about the library, and thank you for your other helpful hints. I think it's fun to be able to take that card to other libraries too, because I know there are lots of great new libraries out there. Well, the downtown library is beautiful, I heard. Is that right?
Yeah, the downtown library is amazing.
Yeah, I have not been there.
Yeah. And just our other local libraries, like the Bee Cave Library and Bee Cave, at least, and us and Lake Travis, you can get a card as long as you live in Texas. So that's what, you don't necessarily need a text share card for Bee Cave. I'm not sure how West Bank is a little bit different, but
excellent. Well, thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. And if you'll hang around, we might have some questions for you at the very end too. So we'll have you go off video, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen if I can find it here. And I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation just like everybody else did. And I went pretty basic on mine. Let me see if I can figure this out. Boy, we're all having to learn new things, aren't we? Every day it's just something new. So these are some discounts on, oh, it's just scrolling on through. I'm not sure about that. Let me see why it's doing that. Oh my, I'm in slideshow. Hold on one second. Let me go back out. I wish I had music that I could play while I'm doing this. Hold on, let me go back into screen share. Out of here. It could be I have it on a timed PowerPoint, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave up this slide. Sorry about seeing all this junk on the side, but I'm assuming that you can see me. I'm going to look for a text from Natalie if you can't see me. The first one is discounts on food. And just like the other presenters here today, the discounts that we got them from other resources, and we don't know if they're still going to be valid. So before you go and think you're going to get 15% off, you might call, or you might go on that particular company's website website because we don't want you to be disappointed. But there's many different discounts on food. Again, I think the best thing to do is when you're having a meal is to just ask, do you have some kind of discount for a senior too? So don't be afraid to ask. We've earned that right. I have definitely earned that right. So as you go through here, you're going to see some major companies, Burger King. Again, it says offers AARP members a free cup of coffee. You've got the Italian Grill. Again, that's an AARP. A lot of these are related to AARP, but I will tell you if you don't have AARP, which I do, and I do like using discounts for that, is you can just ask when you're there too. So Dairy Queen is 10%, Denny's has a 55 plus menu, Dunkin' Donuts, Fuddruckers, IHOP, look at all these different places. So if you are driving through again, just ask them if they have a discount on food. One of the interesting things is, what is a senior and how do we know that somebody is a senior? Is a senior 50, 55, 60, 65, 80? What is it? And every company has a different view of what is considered a senior. So it could be you will have to pull out your driver's license because maybe a senior is 65 and you're only 60. But again, every company kind of has their own view on how they would do that. The next is discounts on entertainment. So AMC, Cinemark, Regal, they all offer specialty price senior tickets. So they're normally $1 or $2 off. As a bonus, some cinemas also offer concession discounts with an AARP. So always try your AARP card. When you can save up to 20% with an AARP membership at Cirque du Soleil, and Ticketmaster offers 25% off tickets, orders, purchased in lots of 4. So that's a huge discount. You also can get some discounts with Tea Time booked at a 15% discount, and again with your AARP membership. Discounts on groceries. Sorry, this is a little bit hard to read, but I wanted to put it all on one slide. So these are some of the major grocery stores that offer a discount. What I will say is for our geography, you're not going to see our companies here in Austin or in Texas. So we're not seeing HEB, we're not seeing Randall's listed on here. So Fred Meyer's, I'm from Portland, Oregon. Fred Meyer's is, all over the Northwest. A lot of these are in different geographic areas. I have never seen a Piggly Wiggly here, but I could be wrong. But anyway, there could be discount days for you for groceries. And again, when you're going through the checkout, you might just ask if there's some kind of discount. I know one thing that HEB right now is doing is with Favor delivery, food delivery, they have a discount, of course, on the delivery charge right now through Favor. So again, just asking, that can help too. The next is discounts on services. So on cell phone plans, I don't know about y'all, but our cell phone bill is probably one of the largest bills that we have for our business. But you can see that there's lots of discounts. AT&T offers a 10% off a monthly service charge. Consumer Cellular offers affordable no contract plans with your AARP card. Cricket has a discount. T-Mobile, I don't know if you've noticed lately on TV, I've been watching a little bit more TV because of the elections. T-Mobile has a whole brand new plan for those over 55. So I think that's definitely worth a phone call. They've been advertising that for the past week on all the major channels. So again, T-Mobile has a brand new plan that you might just check with them. UPS stores offer 15% off general goods and services to seniors, the 1-800-Flowers, ADT, let's see what else, Kindle eBooks. So those are some of the discounts on services. Next, we go to discount on retail. So there's several retailers that offer discounts to seniors, and these are some of the list. We've got Banana Republic, Beals, Clark's, Goodwill, Kohl's, Reebok, Tanger Outlets, and basically there's different discounts on certain days in many places in these stores. So Kohl's offers 15% off to seniors over 55 on Wednesdays. So if you just go on Wednesdays to Kohl's and just pull out your driver's license, you'll be able to get a discount there. What is the other one? I think Kohl's was the one that really stood out for us. Oh, Goodwill has senior days every Wednesday and offers senior 20% discount off their purchases. So don't know what senior is considered for Goodwill. As you can see here, we have 62, 55, 50, 50. It's all different ages. So you just need to ask. One thing that I kind of went down a rabbit hole on was discounts on education. I thought this was really interesting, particularly now for us, just trying to keep our minds moving, learn new things. Since we can't go anyplace, what can we do online? These are some discounts on education, and these are some schools that will admit seniors from other states, and they have discounts for seniors. So these are a list of some of the universities that will give a discount on education if you don't live in the state. And this is just a handful of them. I'm sure there's a ton more. But again, in some of these locations, you actually can go in and take a class. So of course you don't live in Connecticut, but maybe you go to Connecticut. Oh, God bless if you go during the summer. I'm so jealous. And you could take some courses there during the summer. So some really good universities offer some interesting discounts on education. And in that same rabbit hole, what I came to find out is there's a lot of different groups that talk about the OLI. Now I'm going to forget the acronym for it since I'm presenting here, but the University of Texas, if you go to this website, you'll learn about not online learning, but you'll learn about long-term learners and some courses that are available to them. They're different. Each state, I think, has some kind of organization like this and provides courses for older people who want to continue to learn. So for example, there's one at Harvard. Harvard has its group, Lifelong Learners of Austin. That's a completely different group. And they actually have suspended their classes for right now. But basically what Lifelong Learners was doing was providing free or minimal cost for courses. And they were matching people who would present to topics that people wanted to hear about. But they are on hiatus right now because of COVID. But if you are interested in learning more and doing it at a reduced cost, definitely look at some of these online, these websites to be able to learn a little bit more about those classes. So let me see. I think that might be all of mine. And now I'm just going over here to the chat to see if there's any additional chat. Oh, we have additional information about the text share card. That kind of reminds me of people who have membership with a golf group. Sometimes those golf companies will have complementary partnerships with different locations so that you can go and golf in different locations. So that's pretty cool that you can do that. And then she also has a link there to the calendar for events that are happening at the Lake Travis Library. One question I had for Karen, and Karen, maybe you can just put this in the chat. Do you have to be, oh, hey, she's back. Do you have to live in the Lake Travis area to be, no? So you can get a membership in the library and you don't have to be a resident in Lake Travis?
Right.
What?
Our library and Bee Cave Library, anyone who lives in the state of Texas. So as long as you live somewhere in Texas can get a card with us.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually we
Wow.
started with COVID, you can now get a card online. So if you want to use the digital library, you can apply for a card online and then we'll email you the number and you can use that to use the digital library. But Bee Cave, and it's because we're funded by sales tax money. So,
Oh, okay.
anyone could come in and buy in the Lake Travis area, which we encourage you to do so. So, and we get a quarter of 1% of that money comes to our library.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. That's something I didn't know about. I'm reading here, it says Rhodes Scholar offers scholarships for caregivers. On hold at the moment, though. Yeah, I heard that, and Karen, maybe you know this. Has there been some online learning through Harvard? Are they
I think you cut
offering
out.
free
That's a great
classes? Have you heard
question.
that?
We can
I don't know if
look
Natalie
at.
maybe can. Yeah, I went to their website and I couldn't find anything like quickly about it. But I had talked to somebody and they said, yeah, right now you can take some free courses at some of the Ivy League schools, which is super cool. We have a question. It says, are these presentations posted online somewhere? We're actually going to take these PowerPoints and put them all together into one, and we'll send them out to everybody who participated in the event today. So we'll actually send all those out. Oh, and we'll post the video presentation. Thank you, Natalie. We have a YouTube page. I can't believe done all this technology stuff. This is just way out of what we ever thought that we would be doing with LT Senior Services. But we do have a YouTube page, and any of these presentations and all of our presentations from this past year will be on our YouTube page. And we're anticipating right now, and we're looking for feedback from people about how to move forward in the future, but we're anticipating that we're going to be online next year too, at least for the first part of the year. So we're just getting used to this. I got an email from somebody when we sent the invitation to them, and she said, I'm all zoomed out. And I know we can all relate to that. It's sometimes hard to sit in a seat. We're used to seeing people and kibitzing and talking and learning about what's going on with everybody. So it's hard to not have that interaction, but at least we're getting the data out. And that's what is most important to us, is to serve as a resource for our community. And this is one of the topics that we hope will serve as a resource for our community. So I'm looking at, oh, Karen said this might be helpful information, online classes at Harvard. Yeah, and it's free. That'd be pretty cool to say you took a class at Harvard, huh? Might impress somebody, could put it on the resume. I don't know. So I'm looking for any other questions, or we are hearing people are saying, yeah, people are saying stay online. One thing we were talking about was maybe doing some kind of hybrid if we did go back live, where we would be able to broadcast the same webinars. So we'd have people who feel comfortable coming in and sitting in a classroom style environment, but yet we would still broadcast them. So we're talking about doing some kind of hybrid, which I never knew I'd be feeling like a DJ and a video video editor, but here we are. So we're hearing, okay, great. I'm looking again into our question and answer. I don't see any others. Panelists, you want to come back in real quick? Go ahead and show us your videos. There's Karen, Debbie, Ann. Hey, everybody. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any other questions. Did you guys think of anything else after you were done with your presentation? They were like, I wish I would have told them about that.
I think it's been a very good discussion. Covered a lot of bases.
We really did. We covered a lot of different topics, and that was our intention. We didn't want to make it just be about, one thing. So I think we had a really good variety of information. We had information about education and food and clothing and walking and health. And I just want to thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. It is our last webinar for 2020, and we look forward to seeing y'all in 2021. And again, thank you so much. We'll see you next year.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.